guys. It is yo girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life Prison Wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping to see justice before all face to bleak. Yes, his your girl Cadillac. Actually, I missed the part. Hoping, because you got to hold your breath for justice. To see justice before all fades to bleak. There it is. His your girl Cadillac. I don't know why I keep leaving that part out because you definitely got to hold your breath for justice. That is something I added to my intro later. That dramatic hold, that dramatic holding my breath, is kind of is lighthearted, but it's actually the truth. You know, I had a video, a little short, from where I was interviewing my daughter about the situation, catching up with her about her father being wrongfully incarcerated, like her whole life. Really, she does not know him free, because he was taken out of her life when she was 9 months old. So she has no recollection of him free. And as we were talking, we were kind of being playful. And so we were actually really just being how we are. Our family always, you know, makes not really fun of the situations that we go through, but it's a lighthearted way to not take the situation so serious. And the person was like, I can't see humor on no side, on your side or her side. And it's not that it was a humorous thing that my husband was taken from our household. That's definitely not humorous. And taken from our daughter when she needed him most. And she still needs him. So feel free to help us by checking out that petition, help us getting him home. But it's just the way to deal with it, because if you let a situation like that consume you and you're just always so serious about it, first of all, people tend to not want to always hear the woe is me story. I'm telling you, I've learned this the very hard way. Even if you feel like you're in a woe is me situation, people don't want you to hear it. We live in a society of suck it up, buttercup, and deal with it the best way you can. And that's how we deal with it sometimes, through making a little light of the situation so that it doesn't feel so heavy. But anyways, I'm coming through today, July the 21st, 2025. I just heard some crazy information. Like, this is blowing my mind. But rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner. Like, I couldn't even. I'm like, huh? What is this I'm seeing on my feed? But I heard it first through Hip Hop Uncensored. Y'all know I was a hip hop head to the core, but when hip hop changed and went all crazy on me, I shifted back. I even quit my rapping career because of the shift that hip hop made. But I was a hip hop head and I love hip hop. But Hip Hop Uncensored is still true to the essence of hip hop. But so I do stay plugged in to them, and that's where I heard that first, that he passed. So I was trying to get my stuff together so that I can come out and do my story time today, basically about how visitation went. But I went inside real quick, and my dad was like, he sent my little nephew, tell Keita to come here, tell Keita to come here. And I go in the room and he's like, did you know Theo Huxtable died? Like, everybody knows him by Theo Huxtable. And I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. I didn't hear how he passed. I literally just heard it, like, as soon as I put my phone in the thing. And he was like, he drowned. So I'm, wow, that's crazy. I guess he would only be in his 50s. I don't know for sure. I'm just guesstimating. I know he was older than me, and I'm 44, so he would be in his late 40s or early 50s. Um, Crazy. And now, just listening to the rest of Hip Hop Uncensored, I'm hearing that the family was on vacation. what a crazy, like, this is something you were looking forward to, and then the man of the household doesn't come back home with you. Oh my gosh, that's so tragic. But y'all pray for him, pray for his family. And this is letting us know, y'all, we don't know when we finna up it. Who was that that I was listening to last night? Project Pat. Girl, Project Pat about to make me proud, y'all. Like, for real. For real, Project Pat finna make me proud. He's dealing with his own um, thing that's going on with his, with his family, with his son being powed, violence, all in the streets and riddling the streets because they riddled our music first, and they kind of influencing things through music. They're trying to, it's all that transition to get people through that, that prison thing. I got a song about that. They want you out of here or in prison. Either way, they don't really want you here in your children's lives and your family lives being viable parts of society. So they want to build society off of you. So his son passed from violence, from powering, and and that in itself was alarming to me. But when I heard that he has a prison ministry, oh my gosh, y'all know that that has a soft spot in my heart. Um, I don't know how I would, but maybe one day Project Reach the World could be a prison ministry. But I don't know how I would go about it or anything. Just something that would be nice for it to. I don't even know if I can talk in front of incarcerated citizens, because how would they perceive me? Because I have never done a day in jail. I have never, not a day in jail, let alone prison, right? So I don't know how I would be perceived, but I am accustomed to the system because the system has affected our lives tremendously. So I don't know. It's probably just that fear. Our fear boxes you in and keeps you in your just but that would be nice to actually do a prison ministry. But that's what he's doing now, and he is using his platform to go back into prisons and to talk to these guys, to get them closer to God, to get them to, get out. And like, I went back listening to a lot of his stuff, and I don't know why this type of stuff is not publicized. We all should know this because we clearly all know when something else crazy happens in these celebrities' lives. So why don't we know when they're doing good? Why don't we know when they're doing prison ministries? Like, that's crazy. But he was saying these skin suits. We are in these skin suits, and you don't know when something gonna happen and your suit gonna be destroyed, right? But yeah, and his messages sounded really good, so I'm gonna keep researching on that. But I was up till 4 a.m. cleaning up the house, which is crazy. So we're gonna start there, and we're gonna circle back. I was up to 4 a.m. cleaning the house, which made me get up pretty late today. I just came from taking the kids up to. I got my niece, nephew, my grandson, and my granddaughter. Um, Took them up to the library because they have free lunch during the summer on the weekdays at 12 p.m. So we all kind of got together and took the kids up there. They got a room set up where they can eat and they can color, and they had a good time. So I'm just coming back from there, and now they set me up with more money to go get them something to eat. I'm like, didn't y'all just eat? Literally, are y'all just sitting around the house just waiting to eat? They got money from my dad, so now I got to figure out um, what to get for the whole family. or if I can get something to make for the whole family on the budget that he just gave me. But I said I'm gonna take a few minutes to record my vlog of visitation. So y'all know that I basically keep track of my visitations. Let me see. This is kind of hurting my hand. My hands have been really bad, so I don't know what this is gonna do when I unplug my charger. Oh, it kind of knocked me out for a second. But my hands have been really bad. I'm praying that the Lord restores my hands and strengthen my hands. Project Pat was also talking about that, how sickness is not of God. Basically, you know how some people are saying that God is taking me through this bad for good. You got to let him explain how it is. He's like, yeah, let's let him explain it. But he's basically saying this sickness is not happening to you because this is what God wants you to be sick. I have been praying for healing in my hands. My hands have been a big barrier in my life. But that's crazy because we always have to find the brighter side, because I literally just came across, and I posted on my community page, a teenager does not even have the utilization of his hands. So my hands are here, but they're numb. I can't feel them. I drop things. His hands are not usable at all. So if I have somewhat use of my hands, and the tingling and the pain will make me, complain about it. But here, this guy is with no utilization of his hands nor legs, and he's painting with his mouth. It's crazy. So there it is, God always showing us. But I have been praying for healing on my hands, because these hands have been barriers that have stopped me a lot in my artist career. Not even just with art. It is very hard for me to maintain a regular 9 to 5 job. Now we really need 3 jobs to barely survive, and I can barely work the first job because I'm disabled. So I just have to take the blows from being broke as jail, because I can't even do the first job. So how will I do a second and third job to survive? That's why I kind of press forward on my channel. And then another one that I posted, this is all inspiration that I find, so I'm bringing it to you guys, because I struggle with my challenges in life. I'm not the one to tell you I got this and I mastered this and I don't worry and I don't do this, and I'm transparent. There's this guy that he's working, he's full-time working. Do you know there's homeless people that are full-time working and that don't even make no daggone sense? So he was saying how he was living in his storage. He started his YouTube channel when he was in his dad's house. Somebody that had just got out of jail, and I think he was working at Burger King. He was hired. This is why we should care about returning citizens, because when they return, society decides whether they come back committing crimes against you and your loved ones, or if they're actually back being a viable part, a asset to the society, right? You're determining that. I know you feel like it doesn't matter. They shouldn't have did what they did. I stayed out of trouble, so they should stay out of trouble. And life really just don't work cookie cutter like that. But if you want to judge it that way, then to each its own. But one day something may happen to you where you might fall in those shoes, or that trap that you set for somebody else, and you're going to want all of the compassion, you're going to want all the grace, you're going to want all the second chances, and it's not going to be afforded to you because you did not give it to the next. But he was saying how his channel took off. It's crazy. Like, so all of those inspirations, I'm sorry, those are all side tracks, but those things may be able to help somebody. But it just came to mind because I can't hold my phone. My hand is like hurting. And I had a mounting thing, but if I mount it, it's Florida and it's hot. The phone will quickly overheat, so I cannot mount it But yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. But anyway, so I'll put a timestamp here because this is where it actually starts, the visitation blog. Okay, so what happened in last Monday? I was prepping myself to go back to work. Sunday, I have Sunday and Mondays off, and when I get through a work week, I'm always so hopeful. I'm always so hopeful that this is the end of this endless struggle because just working to live and living to work is not going to get us out of this. It just keeps you on the hamster wheel. It keeps you on the treadmill. It keeps you on the merry-go-round. It keeps you, like Joyce Meyer says, in the rocking chair, but it never removes you from that situation. We really should be working to get better in life, not just to sustain in life. And I really don't believe that's of God. It could be of God for a moment to teach you better, but I don't think He would want us to live our whole life in survival mode. Like, if He did want us to always live in survival mode, why would He create other modes? Why would He create the regular mode your nervous system should be in? Survival mode is not a normal mode, but we're having to live in survival mode because what is being thrusted upon us, things are skyrocketing and we can't even, you got to decide, do you want a car to get to work or do you want a roof over your head? Okay, you got the roof over your head. Do you want to eat or do you want to pay the light bill? Okay, you're going to pay the light bill, so now what you going to eat? Like, it's not design of God to live this way. I really don't believe that. And since society wants to keep going with this like this is freaking normal, I don't. So I keep doing whatever I can to try to break out of this endless cycle. And so I get off on my weekends just knowing that, hey, I'm going to work on two goals I have. I got to get my storage cleared out so that I can take back that money. They're raising storage prices through the roof. And I do think it's part of the one, nobody's checking them through this inflation. And two, because people are starting to have to utilize them as housing situations. What? Like, how do we have to have people living in storages? But then you criminalize them for living in storages, but you really got them with no other options. I don't understand what y'all really want people to do. You want people to abide by the law, but you make the law so hard to abide by. What do you want? What do they want? You got people living, I never heard this, but this is new to me. I seen last night. People are living in U-Haul trucks. What? Like, it's so sad. They're having to camp. They're having to, and then they're making it criminal to be homeless. You can't be this place. You can't be this. Well, you made housing so unaffordable. They would be in their houses, but now you brought them outside, and now it's criminal for them to. It just doesn't. It aggravates and it overwhelms me because it does feel like things are out of our control, but they are out of our control. Only the Father can fix these situations. And basically, we have to make ourselves available for Him to use so that He can heal our land. Turn from your wicked ways. Turn from whatever wicked ways you're doing. I'm trying to, I wouldn't describe myself as wicked, but if I'm doing something I ain't got no business, I'm trying to turn from that because I pray, I want God to heal our land. So basically, that's on Saturday, no, I'm sorry. So Saturday nights, I get off and I have so many hopes that I'm going to work on my channel. I'm going to clear out my storage so that I can get that money back because now they're charging me almost $200 a month for a storage unit, a very small storage unit. That $200 can be utilized in my life in so many other ways. I am struggling. I really don't have the money to keep throwing to storage. So, and I need to pay off my credit card so that I can, stop throwing money out from interest because it doesn't make sense how my minimum payment payments are steady going up. I'm not adding to the debt. They've never went down after I paid for them for years upon years upon years upon years, and now I've gotten a little sicker than I was and needing diabetic supplies and this and that. So I need medications now that utilize money. So I got to free up some money. I cannot live like this. It's like living on a ship that is sinking. So every week I'm trying my best to be optimistic that something, some seed that I planted, something in Project Reach the World, maybe some connection I made a long time ago, that person's going to bring, God's going to bring me back to their remembrance, or maybe a person that I reached out to is going to bring me on their channel and have me tell my story or show my artwork, and then people will know that I'm a living, breathing artist, and maybe they'll start ordering my artwork and I'll start selling some pieces and things. Like, I have the biggest aspirations, and I have just a little time frame to do them. So I go into my weekends feeling so optimistic. But because then you have to split your weekends between family. Do I want to spend time with my family? Do I want to catch up on all my work around the house? Because the house is so cluttered now. I haven't been able to find my uniform, couldn't find my badge, I lost my keys. And it's because I'm not tending to, this or that, or how I went forever with my car, not getting an oil change. Um, my battery just went out. How do I keep up with this stuff? My brakes are bad now. Carpet needs to be vacuumed. Like, how where do I put the little bit of free time that I have into? Um, so this week I had said, since the car had broke down and my dad had gave me his car to borrow, because last week I was trying to gas up so that I wouldn't be rushing to work, and then oops, I don't have gas, but I don't have enough to fill my tank. Though I work full time, but I don't have enough to fill my tank, so I gotta fill it within $10 increments, which leaves me on E all the time. So I went to get $10, and then my car would not start. Had a good little conversation with the attendant. We were laughing about the Wawa Hoagie Fest songs, that they made original songs, and I'm like, did they just say Hoagie Fest to this song? I'm vibing to the song and it says Hoagie Fest. And laughing and feeling joyous, not really even worrying about problems, just to get in the car and my battery not start. So I call my dad. He comes to pick up my car, and he's like, just use my car, you can't drive the car. So finally, he says that my cousin came and fixed the car. I try to go out to work I think it was 2 days later, and the car would not start. So I ended up having to quickly, and I got barely enough time to get to work. I have to quickly jump out of my car, get all my stuff, and jump in my dad's car. So it hit me while I was working. Well, I might as well take the car. Like Will Smith said, I got the keys to the brand new Porsche. Would he mind? Well, of course not. I just take it for a little spin, and I maybe show it off to a couple of friends. I'm just cruising around the neighborhood. Should I? Of course I should. Do y'all remember that? Parents just don't understand. So my dad lent me the keys. Girl, I'm finna go up this road. Because I already was chancing it going up there to see my husband 2 weeks prior, and I don't want to put too much wear and tear on this car that's barely, on its. We're not even gonna say that. And so I want it to be another month before I go in my car, so it's perfect. So as it hit me, I'm like, oh, I would have put in Visitation. I'm like, hold on, it's before Wednesday at 5. I can still put Vizzo in. So I put Vizzo in, and I'm like, in the back of my mind, I know he gonna fix this car before Visitation. So it's gonna end up, I'm not gonna be able to go. He gonna switch the car back. So he tells me, as I thought, at first I was gonna sneak up on Marcello, and I was like, I better not do that, because if I try to sneak up on him and then he's like in confinement or they've shipped him again, and I didn't know, because if he does know I'm trying to come up there, if anything happens, they usually tell somebody to get in touch with their loved ones. So I would find out. So I was like, I better not try to I better not try to surprise him. That's too far to be trying to surprise him. So I tell him, I was gonna come up there this weekend since I got my dad's car. And he's like, "Oh, I just was thinking about that. I was gonna ask you, but I know you can't be riding your car like that, so I didn't ask you." So I'm like, yeah, but I don't know if he gonna end up, you know, he probably gonna run out and get the car fixed so that, we would have to switch back. I promise you, as soon as I left that storage, I had told him that. And I went home and I was about to run off to work. And my dad was like, "Oh, your car fixed. I told you your car was fixed." Because that day before, we had drove out of town because my sister had to go to her appointment for they keep up, up checkups and stuff with her epilepsy, which she's doing really good. Her seizures now are far and few in between. So I add to all that other stuff, I'm a caregiver to my sister, right? So we did that, and then so I'm tired from that, and I'm running off to work, and he's like, I fixed the car, so that's basically like run me them keys, switch back. So I jump in the car and my car won't start. So quickly I run back to the other car, barely make it to work, barely make it to work. And I'm like, okay, so he didn't fix it. So he quickly has usually it'll be a couple days before my cousin come through. No, cousin came right away. Next day, oh, we had to, it was the battery, had to change the battery. So I'm like, oh, how much is the battery? Because I don't really have it, but I'm not going to tell him that, but just give him back what oh, don't worry about it. So that was a blessing. My dad paid for my battery in my car, but now he's ready to switch back. So he's like, you had a tail light out, and a lot of interaction with officers and stuff start with things like that. So you definitely don't want to have anything in your car off because you don't want any reason to actually cross their paths unless necessary. I'm sorry that I feel that way, but that's just the reality that I live. Now, that may not be the reality that you live, but I like to stay out them folks' face. So my dad is like, you need to go pick up this bulb so that I can put that brake light on so that you can get your car back, right? So I'm like, oh, so at this point, I already told Marcello, so I could, but I'm not gonna feel right about reneging on visitation. I'm very independent, so I don't want to ask my dad, can I just use your car to go to visitation? Because they also don't believe. I mean, they don't no longer down, me about going to see Marcello, but it's not necessarily that it's hard to explain it. So I'm not in the phase where the family just, but they're not a support in that right now. So it's kind of a gray area. Because at first the family is completely against you going to see somebody in prison. My mom they used to try to obstruct me real bad with that when I was younger. But of course, I started going to see my husband in prison when I was 21. I'm 44 now. I'm a grandma. So I don't know. I'm stuck. So I'm gonna end up trying to take my car off the road. So he was like, go out and get this bulb. I would have did it, but I was busy or whatever. Just go out, get the bulb, I changed the light bulb, and then the keys was gonna be switched back. Well, that was the day that I was supposed to get up. I was trying to reattach my locks that my locks are splitting and breaking. I have thin hair, so when the lock gets a little heavy, it's hard. It starts breaking from the root, and then the whole lock will detach, or the middle of the lock will shred and get thinner. Where's one? This one. You see how thin that is? That's gonna break soon. So I'm like, I gotta reattach my locks before that I can color my lock, because my daughter was supposed to get off at 2:30, rush home. This is how I strategically plan my life. My daughter was gonna get off at 2:30, rush home. I had to have my hair already reattached and prepped and ready. I had on a shirt that was ready for me to use the dye-in that was already kind of messed up. I had everything out. I had done reattached the locks that I could, and which was hard with my granddaughter because she needs all attention as I'm trying to pay attention to this. So it was kind of difficult, but I got it ready. My daughter came home. She threw the color in. The color took somewhat, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted. But it's a difference. And I think with color, I had never colored my hair before. I wanted something different for visitation, but I was like, you know what? It's probably going to take multiple colors before I get my hair the way I want it, and I need to start taking time to actually take care of my locks the way I want them to. Just as locks, I would say, is similar to a garden. If you don't tend to your garden, it's going to grow all over the place and it's not going to be the way you want it. So I could be having breaking locks because I'm not having time to spend over there, doing my hair or whatever. So I was like, I want to turn a new leaf. I'm tired of this rushing and advocating and this and that, and nothing's breaking. It's little chips in the ice. That's it. And I'm spending all this irreplaceable time on that, and I'm letting other things fall by the wayside. That's why I really need this battle out of my life so that I can get back to my life, which is hard. It's like you choose you, or you choose to fight this battle for your husband who is innocent. Like, Jesus. So she comes in, she puts the color in, and I had to quickly rinse it out. I put the conditioner in my hair, and I actually went to work with the conditioner in my hair. Now, this is something I've been doing since hair school. I have always, matter of fact, in hair school is where I stopped using relaxers. This is way back in 2003. I was in hair school. I had not used a relaxer since. I would have braided styles. My sometimes I had my little curls, and then I would have my locks. My locks formed because I had two-strand twists and I never took them out. That's so. And it still is loud. But guys, I took too long to get into this, so I will, set it up after.